Thank you so much, Marcela and Sofia, for joining me today. For those who are joining in, my name is Mariana. I'm one of the veterinarians for Sea Turtle Rescue Alliance, and this is our medical series. So we're trying to do these once a month. And the August presentation will have not one speaker, but two. We were going to have three, but Victor couldn't join us. So we have three for the price of one. Today's talk is going to be about discussing a bit the situation in Chile with sea turtles, and then we're going to present to you the manual, the rehab manual that both Marcela and Sofia and Victor prepared. It is written in Spanish, so it's great for Spanish-speaking communities. Obviously, the aim will be, which is the same as we are doing with our platform, will be to provide all sorts of information about sea turtle medicine and husbandry and care in as many languages as possible, so that everyone has access to them. And just so everyone knows, the manual that they have done is actually free as well. They've been providing it to everyone that's interested in sea turtles. They've usually asked you to send them an email requesting it, but both of them will go into details of all of that so that you know who to ask. What I might do, I'll start by presenting you girls. In the meantime, just know that whoever has questions, feel free to ask them. Ask them either in the comment section on Facebook. I'll try to get to you as soon as we can. Usually it's at the end of the talk. We'll gather potential questions and ask them all in a row so that we're not interrupting the talk halfway. If you do have any comments or any questions that you would like to ask after the talk, and by any chance you didn't have a chance to ask personally, don't worry, still write them on the comments. We'll ask Sofia and Marcela to go through them later on, or send an email. Sofia is also going to share an email at the very end, so potentially you can send it directly to them. Otherwise, you can always send it to STRA, to Sea Turtle Rescue Alliance email, which is STRA, so STRA, at seaturtlerescuealliance.org. So you can also send emails there and we'll reply to you as quickly as we can. In the meantime, I'll present Sofia and Marcela. So Sofia Pereira, she's a veterinary surgeon. She graduated from a major university in Santiago in Chile. She's currently undertaking an integrative medicine and medical phenomenology annual program at the Chilean Institute of Phenomenology. And she's also a permaculture designer at Regenera Permacultura in Chile. She has been part of the NGO Qarapara, which is the Sea Turtles of Chile NGO, since 2015, and she's also done some volunteering work in Italy at the Lampedusa Turtle Rescue Center between 2018 and 19, which I think both of these places were the ones that sparkled her to start the rescue manual. With Marcela Jauregui, she's a marine biologist. She graduated from the Andrés Bello National University, also in Santiago, Chile. She's currently undertaking a master's in integrated coastal management of the Southern Cone at the University of the Republic in Uruguay. And Marcela has also been part of the NGO Qarapara, the Sea Turtles of Chile, for 7 years, and now is also a research assistant for the NGO Qarumbe in Uruguay, so also deals with sea turtles there from 2018 to 2020. So again, 2 places with different sea turtle species, which is quite interesting. Let me just say good morning or afternoon or evening to everyone that's joining us. I'll pass over to Sofia and Marcela. And if you have any questions regarding any words that you don't understand from us, remember, neither of us is English speaking as a first language. So please bear with us, but we will try to make sure that we get all the information out. Thank you so much, Marcela and Sofia, once again for joining. I'm really excited about the presentation. And I'll pass it over to you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. And like Mariana said, we are not native English speakers, so we will try our best. If you see any misspelling in the presentation, I'm apologizing for it right now. And if we mispronounce something, just please bear with us. We will try our best. We're going to present about the stranding cases in Chile and the rehabilitation manual that we worked for many, many years. And it's really, when people think about Chile, they think, oh, South America, like really tropical country, tropical weather. But Chile is actually not like that. We are a rather cold country. But before we start, I need to present you Victor. He is the third party of the authors. He's not going to be present today because of work, but I want you all to know him because he's a really important part of our team. So hopefully he will join us for the last part of the presentation, but we will keep him in our hearts during this time. So Chile, like I said, it's in South America. Now you can see it's a rather large country, and it's a feeding ground it's the southernmost feeding ground for Chelonia medias, which goes to the third region that is like this. I hope you see the red dot. If we zoom it out, we are going to see Playa La Hedionda, which is pretty much this view. It's in the Atacama Desert. It's weird to think of sea turtles in the desert, I'm pretty sure, but here it is, and especially because we have seagrass. So for Chelonia midas is the third region, and for Dermochelis coriacea and Careta careta is more in the center part, like around Valparaiso. We can find 5 species in Chile. Dermochelis coriacea, like I said, up to the central zone. Chelonia midas to the third region, Careta careta until the third one. Lepidopteris olivacea, also center and north, and Eretmochelis imbricata only in Easter Island. It's only found there, it is not on the Chilean continental part. And we want to present you the stranding statistic. I need to mention that the information we use to create this part is of public use. So some data may be a little bit incomplete, but we want to share this presentation with all of you. So we choose to have information that everyone has access to. And the entity responsible for all that information and for all the stranding animals in Chile is called Cernapesca, which is the Servicio de Pesca y Acuicultura. And for this part, I'm gonna leave you with my friend Marcela, and she's going to continue the presentation.
Okay, hi everyone. I need to tell you that I don't speak English very well, but I'm doing my best. Okay, and I will talk about a stranding statistic that we have in Chile. The information, like say Sophie, we have provided to Cernapesca, which is the governmental institution in charge of stranding. We have record of the last 12 years. Please, the next one, Sophie. Okay, thank you. The Chilean stranding classified by taxa from the last 12 years, we have 5,806 stranding with all this taxa. And of these, sea turtle represent on the 8% with 4,087 sea turtles. Okay, the next one, please. Okay, now considering all these years record they are, we can observe the increase in 2017 and 2018. Okay. And in the 2020, we can note that a decrease from this year to the the future. We believe this increase is due to increased call to cera pesca by the population, and therefore decreased report one of the consecutive year may be result to the COVID quarantine. Now, then it's important to know that the 2017, there are many stranding of Rehab turtle, which was unusual, and that we are going to look deeper in the further in this presentation. Okay. In this graphic of the number of strangers by region is ordered from the north to south. The orange color represent the north, is where the greatest number of strangers is observed, with an annual average of 28 stranding in the area. It's almost the warmest part of the country and hosts the famous Atacama Desert. The central zone can be observed in a purple color and is an annual stranding average of 8 cases. And finally, the southern zone, with a turquoise color, it's an annual average of 3 cases. It's important to mention here that the average surface temperature in the north is to 18 Celsius degrees. In the central zone is the 14 Celsius degrees, and is the southern zone is the 13 Celsius degree. Okay, so the central and the southern areas are not considered optimal distribution for the sea turtle. Okay, the stranding event in these 12 years, we have 2 species with the highest stranding report are Chelonia midas and Lepidochelys olivacea. Okay, oh, the next one, please. Okay, now in terms of United States, most of the cases from Chelonia midas stranding are adults, with 2,056 cases were juveniles or subadults, sorry. Oh, give me a second. Okay, while most of the report of Lepidochelys olivacea are adults, like you can show in the left, with 2,090 reports. Okay, for the other species in the last 12 years, reported 2 cases from Careta careta and Eretmochelys imbricata, and just 4 cases for Dermochelys coriacea. The next one, please. Okay. In the total number of stranger turtle, we have 2,030 were individuals stranger alive. 2,052 were dead, and 5 sea turtle were classified like indeterminate. Okay. About the observation of external anomaly, we have 4 types of injuries that Cernapesca reported. As we can see on the graphic, about the half of them showed some signal of injury or bite, followed by mark by human action. Okay, and now we can speak about the species and this observation. For Lepidochelys olivacea, the most cases didn't present any type of injuries, but only 72 individuals of them have injury or bites. For the next species, Chelonia midas, the report indicates that the most of the turtle had injuries or bites, and where was no physical evidence of interaction with nets or hook injuries, or like fishing wear. Thank you. For Careta Careta, there are only 2 reports. One of them had information regarding the type of injury the animal had, and the other one didn't any kind of information in this regard. In the case for the next species, Eretmocheirus imbricata, thank you. Only one of the 2 cases didn't an injury report. The second one don't have any kind of wound or injury. And the last species, Dermocheirus coriacea, we have just 4 cases had report injuries, and only one of them had physical evidence of the main man-made marks, and no one of them present evidence of interaction with fishing gear. Of the end of the rehabilitation process, we have of the 250 live stranger turtle and 108 dying during the rehab process. 38 were released, and there are just 12 of which we didn't have information as to the whether they were released or died. Okay, here, regarding the necropsy, we have that is performed in 49 cases. In 2 cases is called not to be, and in 3050 here is not reported whether the necropsy was or not performed. And this graphic is about rescue center that received the greatest among the stranger is CRRFS, or Wildlife Rescue and Rehabilitation Center of the Antofagasta University, located in the north of the country. The second rescue center where the stranger turtle are transferred is the Parque Safari, located in the central zone of the country, but currently the center no longer exists since it was permanently closed the last year. As you can see, one of the biggest challenges that we have to face as a country relates to the lake is because most of the stranding that occurs on the central and the south area have a transport to the north to be treated, and the vehicles and used and time of travel have a fundamental role in the patient's survival rates. Now, for the other part of this presentation, Sofía will be continued with you.
Thank you, Marcela. I want to send you one case that is about 23 beheaded green turtles. For this case, of course, we need to thank Serna Pesca for the information. Universidad Arturo Prat, that is the place that where the turtles were taken and where the samples were taken. And of course, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, that was the institution that did all the histopathology that we provide. So to see a little bit about this case, in Arica in 2017, they found around 18 plus turtles with traumatic injuries. They didn't know if the timing, the relationship between the injuries time, when the injury was made and when the animal was dead. So that was one of the questions that we needed to solve. Then they did a characterization of the injury, of the type of injury. And since that is a place that we have a lot of sea lions, Ontaria flavenses. They thought that the sea lion was depreding the sea turtles. So we compare all the injuries that were found with the injuries of a sea turtle that we were for sure was subject of predation by one of the sea lions. The samples were skeletal muscle from the wound margin. And the thing that we look for in the histopathology was intraviral response and supraviral response. Those two are really important because they show that the injuries that the body present were when the animal was alive. They were in post-mortem injuries. So it's really important to see if all the injuries they received were before or after they died. And on February 2019, the samples were sent to the NOAA to be analyzed. Now, an intravital response can be hemorrhage, inflammation, any sign related to a wound being healed. And supraviral response is myofiber disintegration that occurs short after the animal died. So we will check the injury classification that we can see. It was 3 different classifications. The first one were turtle with head and neck wounds in which head was still present with or without additional involving the base of the front flipper. We had 8 animals with this kind of characteristic. 4 of them they show supraviral change. Another one also had pre-acute inflammatory associations, so it comes in that group. But a lot of turtles were in an advanced stage of decomposition, so it was not possible to analyze those samples. This is a picture of one of the turtles that didn't have a head. As you can see, the bodies look really decomposed, so it's really hard to take a representative sample. The second classification were turtles in which the head has completely missing, like this one in the picture. And the third one were turtles that present tooth marks that were similar to those caused by shark teeth. But none of these animals that were 2 had neither supraviral or intraviral response, so they were post-mortem injuries. This is how you can distinguish between no supraviral and a superviral. So this one, you can see all the fibers in a really nice and tidy way. Is no supraviral change. So the animals, if you take this sample, the animal was already dead when all the injuries were made. But if the animal was alive or barely alive, you will see that the myofibers are contracted and they don't look tidy and nice as this one. So in conclusion, they were able to prove that the turtles were being depreded by sea lions, and most of the wounds were inflicted ante-mortem. We have the problem that in multiple turtles, it was just too decomposed to actually evaluate how it was. And also we need to consider that on the severity of the injuries, it was expected that most of these turtles wouldn't have survived long enough to develop an histological detectable inflammatory response because for that you need a few hours after the wound is made. And if you cut the hair off, obviously you don't have that time. So it was quite complicated. Well, we want to present you our Sea Turtle Rehabilitation Manual. As you see, the information we have about strandings in Chile is a little bit limited. Of course, the database that the Cernapesca has is way more complete. We just took, like I said, information that is available for everyone. But even if we have few cases of stranding in a year, we would like to improve that the way they are being treated and the way veterinarians can actually treat these animals, because it's not common. A lot of people in Chile doesn't know how to treat sea turtles, doesn't know that we have sea turtles in our coast. So this manual was made in a way that most people can understand. What I mean is, like, you don't need to be a super specialized veterinary to follow the instructions or to follow the things we advise in this book. It is also made for example, a biologist or a veterinary technique to do it. This is the cover. We put a lot of time and effort on the visual impact of the book, especially because the information in medical books can be really dense. We try to make it as nice and friendlier as possible. It took 5 years to complete this book. It all started in Qarapara with an idea from Rocío Álvarez, that later on Maria Jose Brain, Vanessa, and Lina took it and create the base. I mean, a guidance for us to follow. And later on, myself, Marcela, and Victor took this first step, per se, in a way, and create the book that we are presenting to you now. 5 years is a long time, but we also have other jobs and other things to do. And we know that people that dedicate themselves to conservation not always can spend all your time doing it. So we know it's a hard job. So that's why we want to make it free for everyone, because we want as many people as possible involved in the rehabilitation of this animal, so that when they have an stranding event, more animals can be treated and hopefully go back to the ocean. That I'm pretty sure everyone that works in rehabilitation, that's what we're waiting for. But since we don't have much experience, try to go to the people we look forward to and we look up to. A lot of people in Qarapara has developed skills in Carumbe, which is an NGO in Uruguay. And we asked for the head veterinary of Carumbe to check everything in this book. Alejandro Farabrino also review it, and he really kindly write the prologue for us. Daphne, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that work in the rehabilitation area have heard at least the name Daphne at least once. She's a really great veterinary. She works with sea turtle for a long, long, long time. And she also checked that all the information, the doses, the procedures, the surgeries, everything is checked, everything is been approved by these people. Daniela Fregui, that for me is is one of my mentors for Sitting Away. Also check this, she has 30 years experience with sea turtles, and Lampedusa's rescue center has helped a lot of a lot of turtles during their years, and they really help us out. Chile is a really baby country in the sea turtle health and care, and these people that has way more experience than us help us to check that everything was according to what they do. So that give us a lot of a solid ground for the book and for the people that may rely on it on the future. Like I said, we had a really important support team. We have Fabian that helped us with the photograph, so they look better and they are more focused on what we want to show. And Francisco and Ignacia help us with the general appearance of the book that you are going to see now. In a tiny video that we present, this is the email. In case you want a copy, you can write us here and we will send it to you as soon as possible. And the video shows just a tiny bit of what the manual has inside. We can't put everything in the video. I mean, there are tables with all pharmaceutic that you can use in a turtle with doses, administrative pathway. We have surgery descriptions, different transport ways. We try to cover as much ground as possible. So I hope you enjoy this video. Sorry. but like I said, for any inquiry or a free copy, just write us to mrtmchile@gmail.com, and we will send it as soon as possible. And it's true that it's in Spanish, but even if you're not Spanish speaker, you can also ask for a copy and check it out. We have a lot of images and table figures to help understand the content. And of course, we want to thank Sea Turtle Rescue Alliance for the opportunity to be here today. We want to thank all the people that was involved in the development process of the books. That's pretty much the names you can see here, especially Rocio Alvarez, Maria Jose Brain, and Lina Forero, that were the first three most important persons that start with this project. We want to thank Karumbe for teaching us. Most of the three authors and most of people in Qarapara has learned a lot from Karumbe. And Lampedusa Turtle Rescue also for helping us out and for teaching us so much. For the information in the presentation, in this presentation, of course, I want to thank Sarah Pesca for the Stranding information. Also the CRRFS, also for the information, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration and Universidad Arturo Prat de Chile. Because without all that, we wouldn't be able to do this talk right now. So thank you so much. I'm sorry it was so short, but yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable for us to speak in English. It takes us a little bit out of our comfort zone, but I hope you understand and I hope you enjoyed this. So I will leave you with Mariana again. Thank you so much for your time and for accompanying us today.
Thank you so much, Sofia and Marcela. Yeah, you're right. I know that it is not your first language, and you've done a terrific job presenting in English. So thank you for making the effort. Because I know you had made the presentation in Spanish before when you were presenting the book in the early up the year. And I just wanted to be able to reach more people also doing an English version of it. So thank you so much for it. While we wait to see if there's any questions, I do have a couple. Maybe you can help me out. So when you were talking, Marcela, on the kind of like man-made injuries on turtles that you would get when they would strand, do you know what kind of injuries would those be, if there's any particular type? Because the reason I'm asking is, for example, in other countries, and I know in Ecuador, Greece, there were injuries like straight to the head. There's other places that they like to cut the flippers, or not like, but so if there's any particular type of injury, I guess that you would see more on those man-made ones.
Okay, I can respond this in English, but I don't know if I speak in Spanish, maybe.
I can translate. I can translate the answer if you want.
Yeah, we both can. You can answer in whatever it's easier for you.
Ok. La base de datos de Cernapesca solo poseía la clasificación, no la definición de su clasificación, de cómo ellos lo clasifican. Asumo, y en esto tomo la responsabilidad, que marcas humanas on man-made marks tiene que ser como efecto de algún corte, por ejemplo, limpio. Cuando una tortuga es depredada, como en los casos que habló Sofía, generalmente las marcas no son limpias, producto de la mordida. En cambio, marcas humanas puede ser un cuchillo o cualquier efecto que genere una herida limpia. No sé si lo pueden traducir.
Sofía, ¿lo quieres hacer tú?
Sí, no hay problema. So what Marcela said is that according with the database we have from Cernapesca, that's like the main classification. They didn't really specify what type of injury was, but Marcela taking responsibility for what she's saying right now, it's mostly her opinion, is that she thinks it refers to clean cut injuries made by a knife or something like that. Because when it's predation, like with the sea lion or sharks, see that the wound margin is not even. So this pretty much, she thinks it refers to clean wounds that clearly a knife or any or another tool was involved.
Perfect, thank you. And I guess the other one on those slides that you were showing was you separated the strandings by region, right? North, central, south. Is there, obviously, I guess there would be more turtles up north given that it's warmer, the water, but is there any also difference in density of population in terms of humans and activities, like more fishing activities, depending on the area that you are in, so that you would, I guess you would get more turtles because they interact more with humans, or people are more at the beach to see them versus other areas, or it's more like, or it's more or less kind of the same throughout the country?
Actually, the north part of the country is not really populated. Most people in Chile live in the central zone where the capital is. If you go up north, there's not many people, and the beach is, like I said, in the desert. So it's not like a lot of beaches are not really an easy access to go. So it's not like, yeah, it's not like there's a lot of people on the beach and it's a lot of kilometers of beach. So no, and the fishery, we have fisheries all the way from top north to top south. I don't really have the information to tell you in which zone is more active, but it's all the way from north to south. And when the problem is when we have strandings in the south or the north, is that sea turtles end up there because of the ocean currents. So that means they're really weak animals that couldn't really go against the current. So they arrive in a really poor state of health. That is also why a lot of them don't survive the rehabilitation process. Because when they found them, they are already in a really weak state. I'm not sure if Marce wants to add something.
De nuevo en español. Claro, al ser Chile más mar que continente, realmente la distribución o la posibilidad de encontrar tortugas siempre es más frecuente al norte de Chile por la temperatura, ¿ok? Si bien tienden algunas especies a poder llegar a la zona, a la parte alta de la zona centro de Chile, como lo mencionamos, no son temperaturas óptimas para la mayoría de las especies de tortugas marinas. Tiene que ver con una posibilidad de acceso a la playa, tiene que ver con áreas de alimentación. Las áreas de alimentación descritas, al lo menos para Quelonia midas, son solo en el norte. En la tercera región es la zona más austral para la tortuga verde. Es decir, que más frecuentemente están allí. Generalmente las tortugas que pueden ir más hacia la zona centro-sur o austral son tortugas que perdieron el rumbo. Ya, es muy poco probable que se encuentren, y se suma al hecho de que el acceso a las playas no siempre es fácil, por lo tanto hay menos gente pudiendo arribar a las costas y pudiendo también llamar a hacer una pesca para que quede registro del varamiento. No sé si alguien lo puede traducir, por favor.
Sí, sí. Ahora. So what Marcela was saying is that, like we say in the first part of the presentation, the north represents the southernmost feeding ground for Chelonia midas. So we found them more in the north because they actually are there more time feeding. And not necessarily because there's more people there. Like I said, the beach is really, it doesn't have an easy access, a lot of places near the coast. The ones that we found more in the central and southern areas are because they lost their way and because they were too weak to fight the ocean currents. I think that pretty much resumes your answer. It wasn't exactly translated, but it was pretty much that. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Thank you. Thank you both for answering it. We don't have any questions at the minute. What we'll do is they'll either email you at this email or to us or on the chat, and I'll let you know if they do ask anything, so that you can either write them directly on Facebook if you think it's easier. But you were saying, oh, I know Chile, it's like a baby in the sea turtle world. You're just starting to, I guess, to get more into the sea turtle world. But you know, this is the surprising part, though, is that these gifts, like this manual that you both have done so beautifully, you know, maybe it came from the most unexpected place, which should be a country that actually has one of the biggest coasts on earth, but has maybe a less amount of turtles, not nesting definitely, but maybe just foraging in the area, just out of how cold it can get as well there. And so maybe it's unexpected to come a manual from there, but it is much needed. So we really appreciate that you girls and Victor and not everyone else before you that you mentioned took the time to do it, because it's exactly what we're aiming with Sea Turtle Rescue Alliance, is that we are creating that platform to have all the information in English, but also we want to have it in Spanish, eventually Portuguese, French, you know, so that people from those countries, if they don't speak English, they can still have access to that information and can still potentially save lives that way. And so we know how lengthy of a process is. Even 5 years is, I know that you said, oh, 5 years is a long time, but I understand, because it's not your main job. Everyone is working at the same time and doing this on their free time. And it takes a lot of effort and commitment to make sure everything is well written, and information and dosages change within those 5 years. So definitely, you know, we appreciate it. I understand how hard it is, because I'm trying to do that now in English with Sea Turtle Rescue Alliance. So definitely having your book, it's really good as well to have an extra bit of information. Any information about sea turtles, I think it's great, because there's not that much going around. And it's great that you got that collaboration between, you know, Brazil, Italy, Uruguay. He goes a little bit around everywhere. For those of you don't know, I haven't met Marcela yet, but I met Sofía in an international sea turtle conference when he was in Japan a couple of years ago, before the pandemic. So the next one will be in Colombia. Won't be that far away from Chile, so maybe I know you're not in Chile, neither of you are, but maybe if you girls go to Colombia for the international conference in Marzo next year, in March next year, we will be able to meet each other, and whoever would be watching these talks as well, because obviously I know it's mostly biologists there as well, like Marcela, but we're trying to bring a bit of the veterinary world into the conferences as well, as Daniela has been doing it so beautifully over the past years. But again, thank you so much, Sofia. Thank you so much, Marcela. I'll let you know if anything else pops out. And then we'll talk to Qarapara about, also sharing the book with more people. But it was great having you today.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And like you said, it's true that the manual is based on a feeding ground, but we cover a lot of factors, injuries, chronic debilitation. So I'm pretty sure hooks, lines, entanglement is things that there are all over the world, not just in Chile. So you don't lose anything by having it. Every little bit of information helps. So thank you so much, and I hope you really have a great day today.
Thank you, you too. Bye, Marcela.
Bye.
Chao, chao, gracias.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.